This guy knows movies, streaming, music. He comes and goes on a rainbow. How about it for the marvelous Michael Snyder, the Culture Blaster?
Wow, Mark, I am so thrilled that you took time out of your busy schedule to host the show for a change, which is really heartening.
How dare you?
No, Kim has been doing yeoman's work, and very grateful.
Pretty
for
terrific.
She was fantastic last Friday,
Right.
but it's good to have you back in the captain's chair.
Thank you.
I have a topical riddle for you.
Oh.
Where does Joe Montana live?
Doesn't he live in San Francisco?
Joe's mansion.
Oh, it's because
never
of Joe
mind.
Manchin.
Why do I even bother?
Yes, I'm very unhappy with everything I've heard today on your show.
That's two of us. Right?
I travel back and forth between Los Angeles and San Francisco, and I got to say the Santa Ana winds are blowing through the Southland.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that the hot air from the other night's Republican debate in Miami could travel that far, that fast.
Oh, I see what you did. Nice job.
Hey, it blew. Anyway, we should definitely get down to movies, new movies that are available for your delectation.
Yeah, sure. Delectation is a ding word. Dora, thank you for grabbing some coffee from Coachella Valley Coffee.
Oh, I have to also point out, because, we are very grateful for their support. I am enjoying the French press of Coachella Valley Coffee, and it is, as with the espressos, si magnifique.
Yeah, we're serving that today in the green room. Good for you.
So delicious. And with that blatant ad out of the way, despite its collective title, The Marvels, the latest installment in the expansive transmedia world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe based on Marvel Comics and their heroes, is the de facto sequel to the 2019 box office smash Captain Marvel, which was a 90s period movie that starred Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, a fighter pilot imbued with otherworldly power. Who is caught in the middle of an interstellar conflict between two alien races, the warlike Kree and the shape-shifting Skrulls, the former having given Carol those super abilities. Anyway, Samuel L. Jackson co-starred as a younger version of a longtime Marvel character and S.H.I.E.L.D. super agent Nick Fury, and both Larson and Jackson are on board in The Marvels, which is a contemporary continuation of the MCU's grand movie and TV show narrative. To be honest, things have started to become a little uneven in Marvel's relentless output. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a banger of a movie and also quite moving. Mm-hmm. Eternals, on the other hand, was a slog. On the TV front, the second season of Loki with Tom Hiddleston just wrapped up, him playing the God of Mischief in a time-traveling epic that teamed him with a terrific cast, including Owen Wilson and Ke Huy Quan, and it was immensely satisfying and very, very clever. Other MCU shows like Secret Invasion have not been so on point, but the track record in general is pretty good. It is a money machine for Disney and for Marvel, and even though there have been films and series that have worked independent of the greater Marvel saga, all of it benefits from having seen or understood the context. If you know the backstories and characters, there's a better chance that you'll be happy with something like The Marvels, which teams Larson's Carol, Captain Marvel Danvers, with Iman Vellani's Pakistani-American teen heroine Kamala Khan, a.k.a. Ms. Marvel, and Teyonah Parris's astronaut Monica Rambeau, all of whom wield light or cosmic energy in their battles against evil. So The Marvels is a three-hander that focuses on the relationship between this trio of super gals, and the initial hook is that when any of the three use their powers at the same time, they instantly switch places.
Wow, that's kind of wild.
It's played for laughs and frequently funny and very kinetic, as I like to say. And then they discover that a Kree warrior, played by UK actress Zawe Ashton, has a bone to pick with Captain Marvel, and then things get sort of darker. And meanwhile, Jackson's Nick Fury, running a new secret agency from a space station above the Earth, and serving as Monica's boss, is trying to coordinate a defense against the Kree threat. And this is designed to be fun for the fans, so I count myself among them. enjoyed what I watched. It offers some genuine treats with crazy teleporting fights. The fight sequences where they're teleporting back and forth, just absolutely wild. And there are cool Easter eggs. You stay till the end, fans. Plus great interplay between the three women at the heart of the story, all nicely orchestrated by director Nia DaCosta, who did the revival of Candyman, which I thought was absolutely terrific. And she was also one of the 4 screenwriters, which is where the issues come into play. The villainess is lackluster, to say the least. She has murky motivations and goals, and the setup is kind of jumbled, all of which makes the Marvels less marvelous than it might have been. But there's a joyous component to Vellani's performance as Kamala, and her down-to-earth Jersey City family they're a hoot. Amid all this, you got these space shenanigans, and then you've got this, like, what's going on family, which is really kind of cool. And another source of laughs is Carol's pet, Goose, who looks like a tabby cat. You'll like that, Mark, but is, in startling fashion, much more than he seems. But the japery and the unexpected switcheroos that are a very entertaining part of the action undermine the emotional stakes that are built into the story. For instance, Monica is the adopted niece of Captain Marvel. So they've been separated. There's all that kind of, human interest stuff going on. But that stuff, the emotional stuff, gets a bit flattened or shortchanged. All in all, I can recommend the Marvels for the MCU faithful, who will find enough to pleasure them, even if it's not among the studio's best. Hey, fun is fun, Mark.
Champagne Wishes says, movie will flop, Michael. Fans don't like Brie.
Ooh, and Brie is so good in Lessons in Chemistry on Apple TV right now. Brie is talented. She is the least of the 3 in this movie in terms of emotional impact. And I don't know that the movie's going to bomb. There are things to be said about it, but all the prognosticators can, say what they like at this juncture.
All right. She worked for you in the movie, is what you're saying.
She worked for me in the context of the film. And again, the chemistry between the 3 female leads, very good.
Sounds like you really need to know the backstory, the culture, the universe of this to make it
further enhanced. And so you can't go in cold. You can see something like Black Panther after, having not seen any of the rest. You can see the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies and enjoy them for what they are, kind of standalones. Right. In this case, you got to be invested in the characters to an extent.
So if you decided, all right, you know what, I'm going to take the college class to go see the Marvels, what do I need to see?
It would help. Oh, boy, I'm so sorry about this. It would help to see Captain Marvel.
Right.
It would help to see the mini-series WandaVision, because that's where Teyonah Parris's character gets her juice, and Ms. Marvel. I think that would be sufficient.
Okay,
but you know what, Mark? Don't. I'm begging you.
No, I'm not going to. I just asking.
So. How dare you even suggest?
All right, go ahead.
When David Fincher directs a movie, I want to see it. I mean, his filmography rocks. Are you ready? Zodiac, Seven, The Social Network, Mank, Gone Girl, Fight Club. I mean, is that enough to make my case? I would think so.
He's the real thing.
He is.
So what has he directed now?
His latest feature film, The Killer, is here, and it's very much in his wheelhouse. It doesn't reach the heights of those aforementioned Fincher movies. Yet it does work as a solid and sometimes snarky revenge thriller. Yeah, you had me at revenge, The Killer traces a globe-hopping quest by a professional assassin trying to free himself from reprisals exacted by his employers and their henchmen and henchwomen after he botches a significant assignment. So Fincher had the good sense to tap Michael Fassbender to play the killer of the title, and Fassbender's ability to embody the cool and the cruel while implying a certain moral fiber or personal code of honor serves him well here. Tilda Swinton plays a peer of his. Arliss Howard plays a client. Both are quite good in small but significant roles, and the visuals of The Killer are expectedly stylish, as one would hope from a Fincher project. As an inside look at a hired gun and his dangerous world, The Killer doesn't break much new ground, but Fincher is such a masterful director, and Fassbender, who narrates some of the movie in kind of a matter-of-fact way, is so compelling, even when playing tightly wound, that it's hard to turn away from the screen And though it's not easy to empathize with an assassin, or more particularly this assassin, it's not hard to get wrapped up in his journey to want to see if he can beat all the forces aligned against him. Okay, I'm not going to call The Killer, with its deliberate pacing, a thinking man's John Wick, since the central figure here is not as seemingly indestructible as Keanu Reeves' manic murder machine. The kill count isn't anywhere close to monumental in that regard, and the action comes in fits and starts rather than being nonstop carnage. There's also nothing particularly deep about this. It's just business as usual for a man whose job is taking out select targets with calculated precision, in a dispassionate manner, even when he's a target himself. On that level, The Killer works, and it worked well for me.
Wow. You like The Killer?
It's in theaters, and it's on Netflix. So you can sit down tonight and
get messed up and watch it.
I think that's a plan, Stan.
All right.
All right. As much as I appreciated aspects of both previous movies I reviewed, I absolutely loved the darkly comic and thoughtful Dream Scenario, which happens to be the latest showcase for Nicolas Cage's talents in a remarkable recent run that has included...
He is working a lot.
...the taut noir flick Sympathy for the Devil, the over-the-top horror comedy Renfield, the Western, which we just talked about, Butcher's Crossing, and more. And what's more, Dream Scenario offers one of his finest performances.
Wow.
Here he's college professor Paul Matthews, whose career and marriage are in a rut until, get ready, millions of people begin seeing him in their dreams, turning him into a celebrity. Okay, at first his nocturnal appearances are fairly benign or nondescript. When news of the phenomenon starts to go viral online, Paul is approached by a marketing agency, and he's inspired to try and leverage the fame as a means to get a publishing deal for a scholarly book that he has yet to even write, or to profit off his unexpected notoriety. But as his public profile grows, his presence in people's dreams begins to change, and not for the better. Complications ensue. His wife, Janet, well played by Julianne Nicholson, with a hint of the middle-aged Shirley MacLaine, is increasingly disturbed by the situation and put off by her husband's reaction to this strange turn of events and his newfound renown. Their two daughters are thrown as well. Watching Cage as Paul attempt to navigate these bizarre, uncharted waters is an absolute delight. He goes from schlub to media star to victim. Screenwriter-director Christopher Borgley has given Cage a plum of a part with a script that kind of snaps and a smartly embedded subtext about our culture and society that's less than flattering and sadly truer than one would hope. And additionally, the supporting cast features Michael Cera, Tim Meadows, and Dylan Baker.
Wow. All
delivering memorable performances. Dream Scenario, which was co-produced by that king of elevated horror, that Duke of Dread filmmaker Ari Aster, is like The Holdovers, which I gushed about a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies of the year, and one that should get plenty of attention as awards season ramps up. Expect well-deserved acting honors for Cage. He's earned them here for what we might call a dream role.
I get it.
I know you do. Dream Scenario is in select theaters in Los Angeles and New York City.
I'm told taut will be a ding word for us today. Very good. Taut. I don't know.
Anyway, it's going to expand wider over the next few weeks. Be on the lookout for Dream Scenario.
Dream Scenario.
Yes, sir.
Do you say scenario or do you say scenario?
I say both of them depending on my mood.
All right. Go ahead, Kim. We will only have Kim for a few more minutes, so please continue, Michael.
I do want to briefly mention It's a Wonderful Knife. Okay, so It's a Wonderful Knife is, in fact, a Christmas-themed horror movie.
No.
And someone said, well, wouldn't this be clever to have a movie named It's a Wonderful Knife where a serial killer goes bonkers at Christmas? And so they made it. And, of course, there are references to the famous Jimmy Stewart, Frank Capra movie, It's a Wonderful Life. A young woman stops a serial killer in the small town of Angel Falls, not to be confused with Bedford Falls, and ends up, because of her own life kind of going down the drain in some ways, wishing that she had never been born. And when that happens, it turns out that the killings have continued and continued and continued. And she's got to somehow stop them and get back to her
Because her being born was the thing that prevented all of these
further deaths.
Wow.
And threw her town into a quandary, to say the least. It stars...
Quandaries.
Yes, it does. It stars as the town leader of questionable virtue, Justin Long, as the father of our young woman who has a brother who disappears when she decides she doesn't want to be born. The dad is played by Joel McHale. So we have a couple of talented actors there and a lot of kind of unknowns. Cassandra Node playing the central figure, this girl. And, I would have to say, actually, Winnie is the central figure. She's played by Jane Widdop. The other one is kind of a sidekick. It doesn't matter. This is okay. You can expect it's going to have some grisly moments. There's some knifings and violence and what have you. And I think it's more a concept in search of a movie.
I see. Yeah, it's great title. But as you say, it might just play into the
cigarette smoking man from the X-Files. William B. Davis is in this thing in a character role. It's available on streaming December 22nd from Shudder, which is the production company and also a streaming service geared to horror, and it's in theaters in a limited way starting today. It's okay. Directed by Tyler McIntyre.
Let me review what you have regaled us with here today, sir.
Indeed.
It's a Wonderful Knife is the movie you just heard about, the Christmas-themed horror movie that Michael says it's okay. There's some good performances. It's okay, but he feels
not great. It's something you could watch when it comes out on Shudder.
Dream Scenario, and whether you say scenario or scenario, you will enjoy Nicolas Cage in this one, with some also brilliant performances from other contributors who you'll recognize. But Dream Scenario is the movie about the guy who becomes famous because he starts showing up in everybody's dreams. And Michael says there are even some questions about the modern culture that arise through all of this.
Yeah, viral hysteria is definitely taken down a peg.
Dream Scenario, The Killer, the globe-trotting assassin, Michael Fassbender is in this one. Michael didn't like this that much, actually.
I liked it. I just didn't think it was up to his... Up to Fincher's usual.
You wanted more than you were getting.
Yeah, it was good for what it was.
Okay.
I was constantly riveted by what was going on screen, even when things were very deliberate in terms of him doing the assassin's job and setting up his various victims, if you will.
The Marvels. You say you need to know the world of MCU.
Yeah, it's not at the pinnacle of them. It's not at the bottom of the barrel when it comes.
What does
to the
MCU
Marvel.
Stand for?
Marvel Cinematic Universe,
right.
My friend.
Just checking it out. So if you are up on the MCU, you'll enjoy the Marvels. If you're not, you can do one of two things. You can either get buff on the MCU world, or blow the whole thing off.
Yeah.
So that's
take your pick.
Those are your choices.
And it's fun. It's not great. It's not world-shattering, earth-shaking, although, obviously what happens on screen,
But of the movies, the Marvels, The Killer, Dream Scenario, and It's a Wonderful Knife, it sounds to me, Michael Snyder, Culture Blaster, as though you like Dream Scenario most.
You are correct, Mr.
Right.
Thompson. It was great.
And that's in theaters in limited release, but it will soon be out in a bigger way.
Wider release over the next few weeks.
Michael Snyder, it is a delight to see you. The Niners, give me 30 seconds on that, please.
Jacksonville Jaguars are considerably better than their recent history would suggest.
And the Niners are considerably not as great as their...
They're coming back with
Is Debo back or not?
Debo will be back. He still may have that kind of hairline fracture in his shoulder. Trent Williams seems to want to play. He's been practicing. Brock Purdy has to get his ducks in a row and then hit them.
He says it's his fault. He was very this week outspoken about the fact that he said, "Look, it's my fault."
Let me make an interesting point. He is the second highest rated quarterback in the entire NFL.
Comes down to a couple of key moments.
Yeah.
I mean, and he, getting that pass rush, they're going to have to, find ways to protect him. Love talking to you. Love that you stopped by, and look forward to your next visit. He comes and goes on a rainbow.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Go Niners.
Michael Snyder, everybody. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Wow. Pretty cool.